Good morning, children. Welcome to your English video lecture. Children, in this English video lecture, we will be doing English literature part. Okay? And what we are doing today, we will discuss that little later. But before that, I would like to say a few things to all of you that I hope from now on you will do all the work that I am going to give you of English in your fair notebook properly, as I will be instructing you in the videos that what you have to do in your notebooks. Okay, and all the homeworks that will be provided you in these videos, or even in the worksheet mode, you will do that properly in your notebooks. Okay, so now children, moving further, today we are going to do English literature part. And in English literature, the topic that we are going to start today, the lesson that we are going to start today is lesson number 5 by the name Quality, which is from your book Honeycomb. Okay, so this is chapter number 5. So today children, in this video we will be discussing the summary of the chapter. Okay, and through the summary I would be explaining you to all the chapter, that what is in the chapter, basic idea of the chapter. Okay, and after that I want all of you to read the chapter by yourself. Okay, from your book. Okay children, so now let's start the chapter. But before we start the chapter, let's discuss few questions. Okay, so what is an artist? If I talk about talk with you that what you whom will you call an artist? So the basic idea that we know that who can be an artist is the person who can draw something, right? Or maybe we consider art as a dance also as a part of art, music as also a part of art. But other than these type of art, or other than these artists, will you consider a person who makes shoes, who makes shoes or make any other particular item as an artist? Will you consider his skill or his perfection as an art form? So this is the whole chapter that we are going to study today. The name of the chapter is Quality, which basically means what? What is the meaning of quality? First of all, you have to understand that in what sense the word quality or the quality has been used in this chapter. So in general, quality means what? Quality means the the substance or any other any material that we are using. What the product that we are using, what is the quality of the product? Now what is the meaning of the word quality? So in general, we can say quality means the standard of that particular product. Okay, so here in this chapter we are going to study, or we are going to see that how a shoemaker who consider himself as an artist or as a skillful person. Why? Because the whole thing that he used to do was to make shoes. Okay, and in that thing, the making of shoes was his art. He used to consider making shoes as an art, and he has that pride in himself that the art I am doing, the art that I am representing is in its best form. So this is what we are going to see in this chapter, that the quality or the standard of that product that the person, that the shoemaker used to make, has used to be of very good, or you can say a very excellent material. Okay, so what is the whole chapter? Now we are going to discuss that. Okay children, so but before that, let's get a quick introduction of the chapter, that what we are going to study in the chapter. So the whole story, it basically starts with the author telling us that he is telling us about a person, a German shoemaker whose name was Mr. Gessler. Okay, and the author also tells us that how he know Mr. Gessler from his from his days of youth. He knows the person, and the shoemaker, he used to make the author's father's boots also. And now as the author is also young now, he also goes to his shop frequently for his shoes also. Okay, for making his shoes also. And he lived with his elder brother in a shop where by a street in very renowned part of London. Okay, and his shop is quite famous for the quality of his shoes. Okay, this is the whole chapter that we are going to study. So now children, let's start. Okay children, now let's discuss the summary of the chapter. Mr. Gessler was a German bootmaker settled in London. Okay, so the name of the shoemaker is Mr. Gessler. Okay, and he is basically a German man who is settled in London. Okay, so the shop, the place where he used to make shoes is at London. Okay, there he is making all the shoes, and there he has his own shop. Okay, he made very good quality boots that lasted very long. Okay, so the shoes that Mr. Gessler makes, the quality of the shoes is is so good that it lasted for very long. He used to make boots for the author's father. He lived with his elder brother in his shop in a small street in London. So the shop is by a small street in London, okay, and the Mr. Gessler, he lives with his brother, and the name of the shop is Gessler Brother. Okay, so the name of the shoe shop is Gessler Brothers. His shop has no sign except the name Gessler Brothers. Mr. Gessler once told the author that bootmaking is an art. When asked that, wasn't it quite difficult to make such perfect boot? So what happened? One day, the author, he asked Mr. Gessler, the shoemaker, that don't you feel burdened? Don't you feel, don't you feel that it is quite difficult to make a perfect size boot, as the shoes that you are making are perfect? It doesn't have any type of misfitting when we come or when we collect our shoes. So don't you feel pressurized on this particular part, that the shoe must be perfectly designed, it should be perfectly fit to the buyer? So in that, when this question, the author asked this question to Mr. Gessler, to very politely, he has a very a quite smile on his face and very redness on his face. Redness, why? Because he was quite shy to reply that particular question, and in reply he said that making boots is an art. Okay, so according to him, making boot, the perfection that he has while making the boots, making the shoes, is because he thinks himself that making shoes is an art. You cannot make a perfect shoes if you don't consider yourself as an artist. Okay, so the author too used to visit him, but only when he needed a new pair of shoes. So author, he used to visit him, but he cannot visit the shop quite frequently. Why? Because as the shoes that he used to buy from the shop, okay, those shoes used to last pretty long, and due to that reason, that as the shoes that he has bought from those shops are lasted very long, so for him to visit the shop frequently was not possible, because the pair of shoes that he used to buy from those shops lasted quite long. Okay, so he used to visit the shop Gessler Brother, only when he wanted a new pair of shoes. Okay, Mr. Gessler's shop has a distinctive peaceful ambience, which made the author feel like a church there. Okay, so not only the shopkeeper, that is the shop owner, that is Mr. Gessler, he has a very particular idea about shoemaking, but also his shop, it has a quite distinctive ambience means the whole aura of the shop was quite different. Okay, he used to feel as if he has entered the church. If he entered the shop of Mr. Gessler, he used to feel as if he has entered a church. Okay, so you can imagine that how peaceful, how soothing the atmosphere or the environment of the shop was. It is as if you have entered the shop, entered a church. Okay, he made his boots with utmost perfection and would not let anyone touch them. So Mr. Gessler, he was quite possessive about shoemaking. Okay, and he was quite, as we see that how he considered himself as an artist, and shoemaking is an art. So as we all know that those person who are artists, they are quite, possessive about their art form, possessive about the creation that they are creating. So similarly, as an artist, he feels very attached towards his creation. Similarly, Mr. Gessler, he also used to feel quite attached towards his creation, and his creation as an artist is what? That is shoemaking, that is the shoes that he is making. So he used to be very, particular about that thing, that nobody else or no other person should touch the shoes until unless the piece that I am creating is complete. Okay, so you can see that how possessive he was towards his shoemaking. Okay, let's continue, students. There had only been one such occasion when the author had to complain about the creaking of the boots made by Mr. Gessler. He asked him to send them back and said that if they were not repaired, he would refund for them. So, there was not a particular occasion or a time when the author had to complain about the shoes, other than only one time when what happened on the when the shoe that Mr. Gessler made, it created a cracking sound. Cracking is basically means very high pitched sound, or you can say harsh noise through the boots. So a boot which Mr. Gessler made, once it has a very high pitchy noise, or you can say harsh noise, and due to that particular reason the author had to complain to Mr. Gessler about this particular thing, that my shoes, they are making quite high pitchy noise or cracking noise. So when he complained about this thing, Mr. Gessler, he said to the author that please send those shoes back to me and I will repair the shoes, and if I will I would not be able to repair the shoes, I will refund you the money. So you can see, you can imagine by this particular the scene, that how particular Mr. Gessler was towards his shoemaking. He was quite perfectionist, but even if he has a bit of uh, something that was glitch, if he has some kind of glitch in the particular art that he is making, he wants to repair that thing, and if he is not able to do that, he is even okay in returning the money or refunding the money to the customer. Okay, moving on. Once the author visited the bootmaker in another pair of shoes bought from some other shop. He looked at his shoes and remarked that those were not the shoes he made. The author had bought those shoes in an emergency from a big firm. So what happened? Once the author, he visited a bootmaker in another pair of to another pair of shoes, with the another pair of shoes. Means who bootmaker? The bootmaker here, mentioned bootmaker here is Mr. Gessler. So once, because the author, he was quite in hurry, so he had to buy a pair of shoes from a very big firm. But when he went to Mr. Gessler's shop for the repairing of the shoes, and he gave his shoes to Mr. Gessler for the repairing of the shoes, Mr. Gessler was quite, instantly he was able to recognize that these are not the shoes that he has made. Okay, and the German bootmaker commented that big firms have no self-respect. Okay, after analyzing the boot, after seeing that what is the quality of the material, how they have made those boots, Mr. Gessler, he was quite frustrated, and in that frustration he commented that the big firms means the big places from where you have bought these shoes, they don't have any kind of self-respect. Okay, they lure their customer, their advertisement, and not with their work. So basically they attract their customer through the advertisement that they do, not with their work. Okay, so this is the basically a complaint that Mr. Gessler made about the firms, how they they conduct, or they they are not respectful towards their job. They are not actually making the shoes. They are not taking the shoemaking as an art, but they only consider it as a, as a method of earning money. And in that method of earning money, they are more focused on advertisement of those things, rather than, making good quality product. This is the complaint that Mr. Gessler have from the big firms. Okay. Due to this, Mr. Gessler loses a point of business. So due to this reason, Mr. Gessler, he used to lose a lot of businesses. The author felt the author felt pity for him and ordered many pair of boots from him. These boots lasted for almost 2 years, and thus the author did not get an opportunity to go to Mr. Gessler's shop. So what happened, as the author, he was, able to see that because Mr. Gessler, he is very particular about shoemaking. So due to that reason, he used to not get many businesses from the shoemaking companies. So because he felt very bad, as he was the old customer of him. So in that in that pittiness, he buyed, or he ordered many pair of shoes from him. And because he has ordered quite a few pairs from him, so this is the reason that he was not able to visit Mr. Gessler for a quite long time. How many time? Because as the shoes, we know that Mr. Gessler, the shoes that he make are of very fine quality. So he ordered 2 to 3 let's make an assumption that 2 or 3 pairs of shoes. So because of that, because the quality of the shoes are very fine, so due to that, he was not able to visit Mr. Gessler for around 2 years. Okay. Next time, when the author went to his shop, he found Mr. Gessler too aged and drained. He also came to know about his elder brother's death. This time also, the author ordered many pair of boots, and he left for abroad. So after 2 years, when the author of the book, the author, he went to his shop. He saw Mr. Gessler, who is very aged now, and he is drained out of energy. He is now old. So due to that, he is, as a old person, if he is doing something, you will feel that the person is losing energy quite frequently. So that is the reason, when he saw him, he saw that he is very aged now. And he also came to know about the death of his elder brother, that he used to have. He is dead by now. And this time also, the author, he ordered quite a fair pairs of shoes from him, and he leaves for abroad. Okay, he went to a foreign country after buying those shoes. After this, it was more than a year, then the author went to Mr. Gessler's shop. This time he was looking very more aged. In just 1 year of time, he felt that Mr. Gessler looked more than 15 years old. Mr. Gessler failed to recognize the author as usual. The author placed his order, and this time the boots were better than ever. So what happened, after around 1 year, the author, he came back from the foreign country, and he went to Mr. Gessler's shop. Okay, he was quite you can see that he was a very frequent customer there. So there he ordered few more pairs of shoes, and he saw that Mr. Gessler, he has aged quite now he has aged very pretty much. Even though only 1 year only 1 year time has passed, but Mr. Gessler, he is looking as if 15 year more, much more older. Okay, so Mr. Gessler, he was also not able to recognize the author as usual. The author, he placed the order, and the quality of the boots that he got this time was better than ever. Better than ever means this is the finest quality of work that the author had received till now. Okay, so moving further, children, Just a week later, while passing the little street, the author went to Mr. Gisler's shop to personally uh, thank him for the wonderful shoe. But the name plate was missing from the shop. There was a young Englishman in the shop. The author inquired him about Mr. Gessler. He told the author that he was dead. So now what happened? Within a week of time, the author, he was passing by Mr. Gessler's shop, and he decided that now he wants to thank Mr. Gessler for the fine quality of work that he has been giving, he has been providing the author. So he decided that he will go there and he will thank him personally for that. And when he went to the shop, he saw that there is no nameplate of Mr. The shop name, that is the Gessler's brother. There is no nameplate now, and there was a young Englishman. So he asked him that where is the shop owner now and why the nameplate is not here. So when he asked him, he got to know about the death of the shoemaker, that is Mr. Gessler. The man said he worked hard without eating or resting enough. He also didn't have enough money, and everything he had went in rent and leather. The author concluded by saying he made good boots. So what happened? While he was inquiring about the fact that why he is dead now, so the new shop owner, the young Englishman, sorry, he told the author that as Mr. Gessler, he was quite old. He was starving himself to the point that he is not present between us anymore now. And he also, the money that he used to earn, he used to spend those money in the rent, and also buying the boots that he used to make from the quality of the leather, as it was quite fine. That is one of the reason that why the boots used to last pretty longer. So as he used to spend those money in buying those leather, and also paying the rent, so that is the reason he was not able to buy enough food. He was basically doing all the work that as he used to consider himself as an artist, he was more focused on doing the art form that he considered as the beautiful, or you can say a pretty satisfying for him. That is the reason that he was more focused on shoemaking. So that is the reason that he was not able to earn pretty much, because he was more focused on making good quality products. And also at the end of the conclusion, at the end, the author, he says that he was a good boot maker, or he made good boots. Who? Mr. Gessler. Okay, so here children, the chapter, this is the end of the chapter. I hope that all of you understood the summary of the chapter. And if you want detail of the chapter, you can go through the chapter by yourself. You can read the chapter by yourself. You are not anymore pretty young. You can read the chapter by yourself. And if you have any doubt related from the chapter, or anything that you want to ask from the chapter, you can surely ask me. Okay, so children, now as the chapter is over, so the work that you have to do in your notebook is you have to write 20 hard words from the chapter. Okay, and the word meaning from the chapter that is given in the book. Okay, and also children, you have to make 5 word meanings from the hard words that you are writing. Okay, so as you are going to write 20 hard words, choose any 5 words from which you want to make sentence. Okay, that is the homework that you have to do in your fair notebooks. Okay children, thank you so much and have a nice day.